Hey there guys, welcome to the next time lapse here on the channel. I was tinkering with a whole bunch of different things over the past couple of days to see if I could film a time lapse specifically on one of them. And you guys might remember about probably a little over a month ago I kind of filmed a tutorial on how to make, I called them firework loops, and they kind of just involved a whole bunch of kind of little strips of duct tape that I curled into loops and then stuck them together to make a really cool looking kind of like a hair bow or whatever I was using for that. I decided to kind of experiment a little bit with kind of a different way of doing it. This is kind of just an interesting way of kind of using a whole bunch of different strips, using a sheet of tape, and then kind of applying it as a wrap around something. So it's kind of a different way of doing it. You can put it around like a soda cap or like a bottle cap or something like that. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did it here. I have a little piece of a toy. It's kind of like a little cap on one of the toys. I just found something that would work for this. And I'm going to be connecting the piece together, and then I'm going to be cutting strips out of it with the pair of scissors, which you're going to see in a couple seconds. So what I first have to do is connect them both together. So that's going to be the first step right here. And then I'm going to grab that pair of scissors, and this is where I'm going to just kind of cut every few inches or so, probably about a half an inch, and these are going to be the loops. So instead of doing them all individually, this one's going to be kind of all with one giant strip or one layer all at a time. So it's going to be a little bit different. I'm still tinkering with trying to find a cool way of applying this to something or what to apply it to. So it's kind of a bunch of interesting ideas I'm trying to work with. So kind of just puffing them all up, and then you kind of have to take your piece or whatever you're working with, and you kind of just apply them all the way around the whatever you're using. Really, this is kind of just like the cap off of a toy. So I got the one piece on, and I'm kind of just going to wrap this all the way around as I go. So it's going to kind of look almost like a crown almost. If you look at some of the old British traditional crowns, they kind of look a little bit like this. Alright, so just sticking all those pieces on, not wasting any tape, and then I'm going to be applying it all the way to the end. I do have a scrap ball that I started a little while ago. It's probably about 2 weeks old since I started it. It's not very big because I don't typically work on that many different scraps, but it is getting bigger by the day, of course. I'm always making more scraps that I can stick onto that scrap ball. So I'm going to kind of just unfold that a little bit, make sure it's nice and poofy that you can see all those little pieces. And then I'm going to work on a blue one. So this is going to go all the way around the outer edge and kind of work as kind of a second color. And I'm using obviously just the solid colors. Of course you could always use the more complicated printed designs, and they would probably look pretty cool. The only disadvantage to doing it this way is that you can't actually add a lot of variety to it. You can't add as much variety because the entire each strip or each layer will always be the same color or the same design. So it doesn't exactly allow you to do as much with it as the other ones did, which you could, make one color and then make one another, and you could do the entire thing with every color you wanted to. So just sticking this together just like I did before, more or less the exact same method. So this one's just the electric blue tape. And this one probably needs to be a little bit longer, but that's okay because I think I made the first one way too long, and this one should be a little bit longer than it needs to be as well. So I can always just trim it off. So, making the same method, cutting all those strips, or those loops I guess I should say. And like I said, still trying to find an interesting way of using this as decoration. I feel like it definitely has potential as being used for some sort of, layering decoration on something, but I haven't quite figured out exactly what I'm going to use it for yet. So by the time I film a tutorial on, I'll definitely have, some actual function that we can use this for. So here is the second piece. And my cat's running around here. You probably couldn't hear her very well. But this is the second piece, just applying it to this piece here. And each little attaching piece of duct tape will just wrap that around. And this one's definitely a little bit longer, so I'll definitely just trim some of that off, make it look a little bit nicer. So right about there. And there we have it. So that's where I'm going to stop for this one, but I'm still trying to figure out exactly what to do with it. You could always, of course, add as many layers to this as you wanted to get to the point where it would kind of be flat, almost like a flower ring or something along those lines. So it's definitely kind of interesting. It almost looks like a flower, which is kind of cool as well. So not really intended, but the loops definitely allow that kind of that flower pattern to it. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Needs to be worked with a little bit, but I hope you guys liked the video. I'll try to come up with something cool for this in the future for a tutorial.